A warm welcome to the program and thank you for joining us. Now, come June 22nd, June 22, Mauritania will head to polls to elect a new leader. 6 candidates will be vying for the presidential seat after they declared their interest. Officials campaign for the elections kicked off on Friday. The candidates are hoping to replace President Mohamed Ould Abdelaziz after his second term in office ends. The election is also historic, as this will be the first democratic handover of power following the country's many coups, which spanned between 1978 to 2008. So there are about 6 candidates vying for the position, but then the challenge is seen to be between these 2 candidates, the ruling party's Mohamed Ould Ghazouani, who is a former Minister of Defense, and the main opposition party coalition candidate, Sidi Mohamed Ould Boubacar.
And to talk about this, we have our correspondent in Nouakchott, Moulay Najim.
Bonjour,
Hello, Moulay.
Bonjour.
Hello. Tell us, what should be taken note of in these first 4 days of the electoral campaign before the presidential elections on June the 22nd?
Tout ce que j'ai pour vous dire, que la campagne officielle pour l'élection présidentielle du 22.
All I can tell you is that the official campaign for the presidential election in Mauritania on June the 22nd kicked off on Friday, on the 7th of June. There are a total of 6 candidates to succeed President Ould Abdelaziz, whose second term ends in August. This is the former head of state Major General of the armies, Mohamed Ould Sheikh Mohamed Ahmed Ghazouani, supported by the outgoing president and the ruling party with the parties of the presidential majority.
Avec les partis de la majorité présidentielle.
There is Sidi Mohamed Ould Boubacar, former Prime Minister twice, considered as the challenger of the ruling party candidate, who is supported by the Islamist Tawassul Party, the main opposition force, and is also supported by the Mauritanian opposition and businessman Mohamed Ould Bouamatou, who is in exile.
Mauritanien Mohamed Ould Bouamatou, en exil forcé.
There is also Biram Ould Da Ould Abid, an anti-slavery activist who is in his second presidential term. You also have Kane Hamidou Baba from the coalition Vivre Ensemble of the Negro-African component, who lost in the 2009 presidential election. You have for the rational opposition the left of Mohamed Ould Mouloud, leader of the Union des Forces du Progrès party, which is supported by another historic opposition party, the Rassemblement of Democratic Forces. And finally, the young Mohamed Loumin El Mourteji, a public service financier under the labels of the independent youth candidate.
Well, what are the main lines to remember from some of the candidates' campaign manifesto or agenda? What can we remember? What can we take away from their campaign agenda?
It must be said that the main lines addressed by the programs of the 6 candidates running for the presidential elections of June the 22nd remain largely dominated by 3 vital sectors, namely education, health, and the economy. But above all, strengthening national unity and social cohesion through the rehabilitation of schools so that they continue to play their role of yesteryears by sowing the values of the Republic. It should be stressed that the campaign is divided into 2 camps. The one of the opposition, which left in a dispersed direction with the objective of bringing about definitive change for the country. But for the other side, that is the ruling party candidate, it is a change in continuity. And finally, to preserve the achievements and construction of modern Mauritania.
Voilà, donc c'est un peu les 3 cas.
And Moulay Najim, can we at this stage have a focus of the campaign? Who are the most prominent candidates in these elections?
Bien sûr, le candidat Biram Ould Abid
Of course, Biram Daha Abedi also accused Mohamed Ould Abdelaziz as leader of the outgoing regime and his close associates of taking over the country's wealth at the expense of the people who suffer from soaring prices, deteriorating health, unemployment, and even low wages. Overall, he said that this election is supposed to strengthen democracy in Mauritania after the 2 terms in office of President Mohamed Ould Abdelaziz, granted by the legitimacy of the ballot boxes and which is constrained by the provisions of the Constitution not to run for the 3rd term, thus opening the way to the principle of political alternation. But also its results will clearly distinguish the controversy over the community percentage rate.
Accordé par la légitimité des urnes et qui est contraire par les dispositions de la Constitution de ne pas se présenter à un 3e mandat, ouvrant ainsi la voie au principe de l'alternance politique. Mais aussi, ces résultats partageront clairement l'opinion nationale et internationale sur la polémique suscitée, sur la polémique qui suscite le taux de pourcentage communautaire en Mauritanie.